What's going on, Giants fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And in this video, I obviously have to talk about the big topic of the weekend. Unfortunately, the New York Giants not just losing to the Las Vegas Raiders 30-6, but losing their starting quarterback Daniel Jones for the season with a torn ACL. But before I dive more into this, what it means for Big Blue, what it means for Daniel Jones and his future, not just with the Giants, but with the NFL in general, I want to remind you all to check us out on all of our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Big Blue Avenue. We appreciate all the support. Now, our Week 8 recap, Giants get thumped by the Las Vegas Raiders. Final score 30-6 in the head coaching debut of former New York Giant, Super Bowl champion Antonio Pierce. A prototypical game for an interim team rallies behind their new coach. Players respond well, and they win the football game. And this game wasn't even close. It was very disappointing the way it ended up. Giants dropped to 2-7. The team looked lifeless for most of the game. And even before the Daniel Jones injury, he wasn't looking good. He was just 4 of 9 for 25 yards. He missed Jalen Hyatt twice on a deep ball. We know that he hurt his knee buckle late in the first quarter there. He was testing it during the commercial break, comes out, first play of the second quarter, shotgun set, aggravates the knee again. Coming back after 3 weeks off with a neck injury, probably a lot sooner than some may had thought, myself included. He lasts 1 quarter and 1 play officially. When he hurt his knee buckle, Jones falls down to the ground, able to walk off under his own power, but he is out for the season. Very unfortunate injury. Other injuries in this game, Adoree Jackson left with a concussion, did not return. Evan Neal also sprained his ankle, the opposite ankle of the one he previously injured. Tyre Phillips entered the game at right tackle, and I will say the offensive line did not look half bad. Yes, they did give up 7 sacks, but a lot of them were coverage sacks. Giants couldn't get people open down the field. Tommy DeVito had to enter the game for Daniel Jones. DeVito was sacked 6 times. He threw 15 of 20 for $175. He did have 2 interceptions. Robertson in the secondary had a great game for them, along with Nate Hobbs too. DeVito did have 1 touchdown late to Wan'Dale Robinson, who was one of the 2 players that put some life into this Giants offense late. It was really him and Saquon. Barkley took on an even bigger leadership role than normal after Jones left with an injury. Saquon, I thought, wasn't utilized enough. 16 rushes for 90 yards, but when the game script gets that out of hand, there's not much the Giants can do. They have to throw the football. Barkley averaged 5.5 yards per carry. He also had 3 catches. Wan'Dale scores his 2nd touchdown of the season. Actually, it might have been his first. 4 catches and 35 yards for him. Jalen Hyatt, just 2 catches, fumbled the ball that Wan'Dale recovered. The receivers outside of Wan'Dale did not look great. Isaiah Hodgins had that 1 drop that Robertson got involved in. Darius Slayton caught a little heat late, 4 catches for 59 yards, but he did have 7 targets as well. And I will say, though, defensively, as tough as this game was, it was not a prototypical Wink Martindale defensive battle game. Deonte Banks did not play well, but I'll tell you who did. Once again, it was Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. I mean, 2 guys that really did phenomenal. McFadden had 2 tackles for loss, 91 Pro Football Focus grade this week. Ashawn Robinson, I thought, did an excellent job filling in for Leonard Williams. Isaiah Simmons got involved. Only problem was the defense had 0 sacks. Aiden O'Connell looked really good out there. 209 passing yards. Jacobs had 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground. I thought they contained Jacobs very well for the most part in the second half, but they couldn't contain Jacoby Myers early on. The 3 times he touched the ball, they were all effective. Devontae Adams was held in check, only 4 receptions for him, but I mean, the playmakers of this game for the Raiders were Josh Jacobs, Jacoby Myers, and then defensively, I mean, Max Crosby with 3 sacks was phenomenal. Robertson and Hobbs each with a pick. Tyree Wilson, Raiders' first-round draft choice, got some pressures on Tommy DeVito. And then Robert Spillane was phenomenal too, flying across the field. And this team, led under Antonio Pierce, they were able to rush for 123 yards. That's 53 more than what they were averaging. Giants committed 2 turnovers. Raiders were clean. That's really the key to the game here. And, it's very unfortunate. I'm very sad for Daniel Jones. I hope this is not the final time we witnessed Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback for the New York Football Giants, but it is very possible that could be the case. I'm very aware of that. And now the question for the short term, will Tommy DeVito start for the remainder of the season? So there's 8 games left for the Giants in 2023. They're 2-7 upcoming this weekend. They have the Cowboys. Then they have 2 more games before the bye. So there's still 3 games before the bye week, which is incredible. It's the Cowboys, the Commanders, and then I think it might be the Packers after that. So I think you got to roll with DeVito right now, at least for the next 3 weeks. Tyrod Taylor is on injured reserve as well, so it's not like he can come back and play. He's dealing with ribs. When Dable was asked in the presser earlier today, he wasn't even so sure that Taylor would be back this season. So this could be the Tommy DeVito show. He looked much better than he did back in week 8 against the Jets, but, he made some bad decisions from time to time, which is expected. Third-string practice squad quarterback trying to get up to speed, going real time against starters in the league. He's got a lot to learn, but I will say, despite being 2-7, these last 8 games are very important because it's time to evaluate what type of coach is Brian Dable when his back is against the wall. Can Tommy DeVito be that developmental backup QB next season? He's playing for QB2 next season, potentially. Tyrod Taylor's a free agent. We don't know about Daniel Jones. Even if Jones, by some reason, if he does get healthy in time, we don't know what he's going to look like. The Giants might have a new quarterback in town. But for the final 8 games, I think DeVito starts a decent chunk of them. I don't think he gets all of them. We know that Matt Barkley is on the practice squad as well, familiar with the Buffalo offensive system, coming over from there to the Giants now. And the Giants, I believe they also worked out Trace McSorley earlier this season. I believe he is on the Bears practice squad right now, or he might be Tyson Bagent's backup until Justin Fields comes back. So if I had to guess, the Giants are definitely bringing in another quarterback this week. As far as who, I'm not so sure. I mean, you got DeVito, who they'll roll with as QB1 for now. Matt Barkley, the veteran presence in there to back him up and groom him. You still got Tyrod. I'm sure DJ will be around, in a few weeks or so, on the sideline, helping out from a, coaching advice perspective. And the Giants are probably going to have to sign another QB to put on their practice squad. Trace McSorley is the first guy that comes to mind. Can't really think of any more at the moment. I know Carson Wentz is out there, but everyone's avoiding him. So we'll see. We will see what happens. Where do the Giants go from here? Well, I think it's evident. You have to draft the quarterback in this year's draft. The Giants right now have the number 4 overall pick. Very, very high. Huge Daniel Jones supporter that I am. I do realize that the writing is on the wall here. He tore his ACL in the middle of the season. This is a long rehab. He may not even be ready in a full calendar year from now. Daniel Jones will be on the roster in 2024. I can pretty much say that's for certain. But in what capacity? If he is ready for next year, do you start him and let the rookie learn for another year? The Giants don't necessarily have to take a quarterback in round 1. They could take one in day 2, even day 3 if they really fall in love with somebody. Hell, Tom Brady was a day 3 pick. So we really don't know what's going to happen. But I wish Daniel Jones all the best. I hope he heals, gets well soon. I wish him nothing but a speedy recovery. Thoughts and prayers to him, his family, and, of course, the Giants as well, and his friends. it sucks for Daniel Jones. I love Daniel Jones. I've been a Daniel Jones supporter since day one. But if this is it, I want to say thank you to number 8. The Giants did fail him, unfortunately, and it's very tough. Eli Manning laid down the blueprint for this football team by never missing a start due to injury in his entire 16-year NFL career. And a lot of Giants fans took that for granted. And I was very resistant to when the Giants wanted to move on from Eli. And, Daniel Jones being the successor, you kind of have some heartstrings attached to it. You want him to succeed because he learns from Eli for that one season. So it sucks. It really sucks. This is the lowest of lows that the Giants have been. I'll go out and say this is even worse than 2021, because at least in 2021, Jones was only in his 3rd season. Now you paid the guy after how well he played in 2022. And the Giants now are stuck in a predicament where Barkley's on a contract year. There's going to be a lot going on. So we'll talk about it on this week's episode of Big Blue Avenue, live stream Wednesday evening with Sam Cardona, myself. We'll have a Cowboys guest on, returning guest. So we'll see what happens. We'll preview that game. We'll talk about the future of the Giants. But for now, folks, I want to shout out our proud sponsor, BetUS. If you like to sports bet, BetUS is the place to go. You can sign up with our promo code below at JOIN125. Get a 125% sign-up bonus where you can bet on the go, anywhere, anytime. That's BetUS, America's #1 favorite sportsbook, where the game begins. Giants are 2-7. I hope they come out better next week. Not expecting a win, but who knows? Anything can happen. It's the NFL, and nothing but the best to Daniel Jones. Appreciate you all. And without further ado, let's go Big Blue.